A few days ago on Instagram, I posted a video, and it was a former Transformation Tuesday video that I had shared on LinkedIn and Facebook or YouTube previously. When I share those to my Instagram community, which is a completely different audience and group of followers, sometimes I do it a couple months later. I'm just much better about posting these videos to LinkedIn. But I had gone ahead and shared this video to my network late, and I have a lot of runner friends that are on that channel, and I hope one of them doesn't mind that I pick on him for this. I don't think he will. But the great Ron Carino, who's a buddy of mine from my national run club, made this comment on the video, and he said, region beta paradox. And I had no idea what that was. The video had been about finding your dream job and not tolerating a job or settling for a job where you're saying things like, it's okay, but it's not great, or it's good, but it's not great. I'm bored. It pays the bills though. I don't love it. It's not what I really want to do, but for now it's all right. And so I had ultimately been saying that I believe that we spend enough time at work that we should love our jobs, and we should feel passionate about our jobs, motivated by our jobs, lit up by our jobs. You shouldn't just tolerate or settle for something that's, it's okay, but it's not great. And so I never heard what this region beta paradox was. I went and looked it up. And what I found out is it's really this concept and this research and this whole idea behind, if things are bad or annoying or inconvenient in our lives up to a certain point, we'll put up with them. But if they become really bad or really frustrating or really annoying, then we won't. And we will then do something about it. And the article I read on this gave a lot of examples of this. Maybe it's a bad relationship that you're in. You have a significant other that isn't always so kind to you, maybe drinks a little bit too much, kind of isn't driven or motivated in their life, create messes around the house, but they're not, beating you up or full out attacking you verbally or physically. And so it's not a great relationship, but it's not an awesome one either. But it's not so bad that you're like, I got to get out of here now. And the example that the article gave was, if we have to walk a mile, we'll typically go ahead and do that. We'll say, okay, it's a mile, I can walk a mile. But if we have to walk 2 miles, it's at that point we say, okay, I need to get a bicycle or find some other mode of transportation because I don't want to walk 2 miles. So 1 mile, we'll walk it. At 2 miles, we won't. There's something in that middle ground where we say, okay, this is officially long enough that I'm not really looking to walk this. So at the mile point, you don't say, I'm going to go get a bicycle out of the garage, because then it's things like, well, where am I going to chain it? Or how am I going to lock it up? Or like, am I sure I'm ready to ride it? Do I even have the right footwear? It just seems almost more of a hassle to deal with it. I'll just walk. But again, at the 2 mile mark, we say, now I'm going to ride a bike, because even counting the time that it would take me to get the bike out or lock it up when I get to my destination, it's still kind of worth it to not have to walk 2 miles. And so as I was reading about this concept, I realized this is not a job thing. We do this all the time. We've probably all experienced back pain, neck pain, muscle soreness or tightness, a cut on our hand, something medically, a cold, cold symptoms where we say, I don't need to go to the doctor or the hospital or the emergency room just yet. This is annoying, this is frustrating, but I can deal with this. And sometimes things go away and then sometimes they don't. But there is always this point where we reach a higher level of pain, or we develop a greater sense of urgency, and we think, okay, I need to go and see about this now. The whole point of all of this is that we tolerate things in our life for longer than we should because they're mildly annoying, but they're not creating a situation in our life where we're unable to live, or it's wreaking havoc on our life, or it's standing in the way of us being who we really want to be. If it were at that point, we would go ahead and do something about it. We would break up with the person. We would go see the doctor. We would fix whatever it is. We would get on the bicycle, for lack of a better word. But because it rides at just the level below that and kind of hangs out in that middle ground, we don't do anything about it. And as I was thinking about this, I realized, my gosh, all of my coaching, my videos, my communication with the world is about building an exceptional life for yourself. It's not about having a good life or an average life or a decent life. It's about, how do you be great? How do you really, really love your life and love your job and love your spouse and love what's going on at home? And as I was thinking about what advice would I have in regards to this region beta paradox, my thought was, you have to be willing to take action earlier you have to be looking out for areas of your life that are, hey, it's okay, but it's not great, or it's good, but it's not great. And be willing earlier to say, you know what, I want it to be great. I have high standards. My expectation is not just okay, but great. And so I'm going to need to do something about it at this point, even though it's not completely terrible yet. If it's just kind of bothering me a little, I'm still going to take action. We have, and I'm glanced down at it because it's right in this room. We have this situation with our carpet, and the carpet, when it was put in right around the start of COVID. I think everyone was sort of in a state of distraction. Not everyone was really focused on their work. Everyone was very nervous about what was going to happen, what was going on. And literally that first week of lockdown is when we had this home that we live in carpeted. And in several of the other rooms, little bubbles have kind of popped up where the carpet is sort of, pulling up and it's not lying flat. And really, I don't know if that's just because heat or time has gotten to it, or things have expanded and it's kind of the stress on it has caused the fibers to shift. But in several of the rooms, we have called up our carpet company and said, this thing is under guarantee. Will you come back and re-stretch the carpet? And every single time they've come and done that. And it's been pretty easy to make that call and get them here. But in this one room, it's starting to happen. It was the last room to go and to do it. So that's kind of why we haven't called yet. But we did on the last visit say, hey, can you do this room too? And they said, well, in this particular room, we're going to need you to get all the furniture out of the room, including this desk, which is, as you can see, it's got the chest or the hutch. I'm not quite sure what this is called behind me. It's packed with all sorts of documents and scrapbooks, photo albums, whatnot. I keep a lot of my personal sentimental things here. And all of that is a lot of weight. So not only would we have to take the desk apart, but I would have to actually empty all the drawers so that then we could carry the pieces out the door into another room. We have a couch over here that I sit on when I read. We have a bookshelf right here in front of me that's loaded with books. It's lots of heavy things. And I thought, my gosh, it's going to take hours, half a day for us to clean out this room just so they can restretch the carpet. And so I've been thinking, I don't really want to do that. That just seems like a lot of work. I will just live with it. But over the last maybe 3 months, this kind of bubble or line that's going down the middle of the carpet where you can sort of see it's just not perfectly laid is getting worse. And it's starting to bother me more and more and more. And I realized when I saw Ron's thought or comment about this region beta paradox is that it's bothering me enough that I think about it probably about once a day. And it's time that I should do something about it. How much happier and more able to enjoy this room will I be if this were fixed? But I've just been putting up with it because, again, it's not that bad. So, Ron, you've inspired me to call the carpet people, set the date, and go through the probably tedious work of getting everything out of this room so we can make this room look perfect and something we're really proud of, not just, it's okay. So I invite you to ask yourself, where's the bubbles in your carpet? And I say that sort of as a metaphor now and an analogy, but what's that thing around the house, in your career, in your personal life, with your health and fitness, whatever it is, that it's just not quite right, but you've just been kind of like looking the other way. And if you were to address those things, how much better of a life could you or would you have? So look for those bubbles in your carpet. I'd love to know what you find or what you stumble upon in your life that you realize, you know what, I got to deal with that. It's time to deal with that. I've been letting that go. With that, everybody make a great day, and I can't wait to see you soon.